Let me tell y'all something right now. A man don't hurt a woman who loves him just because he's evil or just because he's a bad guy. Nah, it's way deeper than that. A man hurts a woman who loves him because he got wounds inside that he ain't never cleaned out. He got scars he's still hiding. He got pain so deep that he's scared. If he ever really looks at it, it might swallow him whole. So instead of dealing with it, he runs from it. He covers it up. And when you love a man like that, when you try to get close to a man like that, you ain't just knocking on his heart, you're knocking on his pain. You're waking up every fear he ever had that he wasn't good enough, wasn't strong enough, wasn't lovable enough. And when that fear shows up, he don't know what to do but fight. And sometimes the person standing closest to him catches the worst of it. See, most men were raised in a world where being emotional was seen as weakness. You crying, you soft, you scared, you weak. You hurt? Man up. Shake it off. Keep it moving. So guess what happens? They bury that hurt so deep that it becomes a part of who they are. And then a good woman shows up. Loving, kind, patient, and it confuses him. Because deep down, he don't even feel worthy of that love. Deep down, he thinks, she gon' leave when she finds out the real me. She too good for me. This can't be real. So he starts pushing her away before she can leave, before she can see all the broken pieces he's trying so hard to hide. Men hurt women because the pain they've been carrying is louder than the love they're being given. It's not that the woman ain't enough. It's that the man don't know how to accept enough when he ain't never felt it before. Love feels uncomfortable to a broken man. Real love feels like standing in the sunlight after living in a cave your whole life. It burns his eyes, it blinds him, and instead of stepping into it, he runs back into the dark because that's where he feels safe. And here's the sad part. He don't even realize he's hurting her most of the time. He thinks he's protecting himself. He thinks he's staying strong. But all he's doing is bleeding on the one person who didn't cut him. All he's doing is breaking the heart that came to heal him. And when it's all said and done, when the woman finally has enough and walks away, he stands there wondering why he's alone again, blaming her, blaming love, blaming life, instead of looking in the mirror and seeing that it was his own pain that did the damage. And you know what's worse? Some men will keep repeating the cycle over and over again. New woman, same pain. New chance, same fear. Until one day, hopefully, he realizes that no new relationship can fix what only healing can. Until he looks that old pain dead in the eye and says, "You ain't controlling me no more." Until he lets himself cry. Until he lets himself heal. That's when he'll stop hurting the ones who love him. That's when he'll finally be ready to give the love he's been running from all his life. A man ain't supposed to be perfect, but he damn sure is supposed to be working on his wounds, so he don't keep wounding the woman God sent to love him right. At the end of the day, a real man ain't the one who hides his scars. He's the one who heals them so he can hold on to the woman who loved him before he ever knew how to love himself. Fear of real intimacy is one of the biggest reasons why a man will hurt a woman who loves him. See, everybody talks about wanting real love, wanting somebody to stand by them, somebody to believe in them. But when that real thing shows up at the door, it's scary. It's terrifying. Because real love means you gotta take the mask off. Real love means somebody's gonna see you. Not the version of you that you show the world, not the tough guy, not the player, not the boss, but the scared little boy who don't know if he's really enough. And for a lot of men, that's too much. It's easier to play tough than it is to stand there naked emotionally and say, "Here I am, flaws and all." So instead of letting love in, he starts fighting it. Instead of drawing her closer, he starts pushing her away. See, a lot of men are walking around like fortresses. Brick walls built so high, nobody can climb them. And when a woman starts climbing, when she starts breaking through, it triggers every fear he's ever had. Fear of being judged, fear of being abandoned, fear of being hurt again. And in his mind, it's safer to shut down. It's safer to self-sabotage. He'll start picking fights. He'll start acting distant. He'll start doing things to make her question herself. Not because he don't love her, but because deep down he don't believe he can survive loving her fully. Because if he gives her everything and she leaves, well, he don't think he can come back from that kind of hurt. And here's what you gotta understand. Intimacy ain't just about physical closeness. It's about letting somebody all the way into your world. Letting them see your doubts, your fears, your dreams. And a man who's never been taught that vulnerability is strength will think it's weakness. So he'll protect himself the only way he knows how. By keeping the woman who loves him at arm's length. By putting up walls she can't break down no matter how hard she tries. He'll hurt her not because she did something wrong, but because getting close feels like standing too close to a fire. He's afraid he's gonna get burned. You ever wonder why a man will seem so into you one minute and then disappear the next? Why he'll make promises one day and break them the next? That's fear talking. That's a man running, not from the woman, but from the feeling she brings out in him. The feeling that he might actually need somebody, that he might actually want to lean on somebody. And when you've been raised your whole life to believe you gotta stand alone, needing somebody feels like losing control. And men are terrified of losing control. So instead of admitting that fear, he'll act out. He'll sabotage. He'll cheat. He'll lie. He'll pull away. He'll do anything to create distance, to create doubt, to create enough space that he can breathe again. Even if breathing without her hurts more than staying close ever would have. The crazy part is, most men don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're protecting themselves. They think they're staying strong. But real strength ain't about pushing people away. Real strength is about letting the right ones in. Real strength is about standing there, scared as hell, and choosing to love anyway. A man who runs from intimacy ain't running from you. He's running from the version of himself that he's too afraid to let you see. Until a man finds the courage to let love in, he'll keep hurting the very heart that was sent to heal him. Society teaches men toughness, not emotional honesty. That right there is one of the deepest roots of why so many good women get hurt. From the time a boy is little, he gets these messages loud and clear. Don't cry. Be a man. Man up. Handle it. It don't matter if his heart is breaking. If he's scared, if he's confused, he's told to suck it up. Hide it. Push it down. So guess what happens when that boy grows into a man? He becomes somebody who don't know how to feel out loud. Somebody who don't know how to say I'm hurting. Somebody who don't even know what to do with love when it shows up because he ain't never been taught how to be soft and strong at the same time. See, our world praises a man who's got money, muscle, status, but we don't celebrate the man who can sit down and say, baby, I'm scared. Baby, I'm trying, but I don't know how. That's why when a woman loves a man, she's often loving a man who's been trained his whole life to show everything except his real heart. He knows how to provide. He knows how to protect, but he don't know how to be vulnerable. And vulnerability, real emotional honesty, that's what deep love is built on. When a man is taught toughness over truth, he sees every emotional conversation as a threat. He sees every tear as weakness. And instead of opening up, he shuts down. He might lash out. He might get cold. He might leave the room. Because in his mind, he's been told that showing emotion makes him less of a man. But here's what ain't been told to him enough. It actually makes him more of one. It's the man who can sit with his own emotions, who can face his fears, who can admit when he's wrong. That's the real strong one. That's the man who can hold a woman's heart without crushing it. But too many men ain't been given the tools to do that. They out here trying to build a relationship with a hammer and no nails. They can break stuff, but they don't know how to build anything lasting. They can act tough, but they don't know how to stay tender when it matters most. And that's how they end up hurting the very women they care about. Not because they don't love them, but because they've been armored up their whole lives. And love, real love, don't survive in armor. Love needs openness. It needs risk. It needs a man willing to lay some weapons down and say, I trust you enough to let you see me. Imagine trying to love somebody who's been taught that needing you makes them weak. Imagine trying to hold someone who's been taught that being held is shameful. That's the uphill battle so many women are fighting. They're loving men who want to love them back, but have never been taught how to do it the right way. It's not enough to just be tough in this world. We got enough tough people walking around angry, broken, isolated. What we need are men who are tough enough to heal, men who are tough enough to be honest, men who can look a woman in the eye and say, I'm scared, but I'm staying. I'm hurting, but I'm still choosing you. That's the new strength we need to start teaching. That's the kind of men who stop hurting women and start loving them right. A man ain't less of a man for feeling. He's less of a man if he's too scared to. Real men don't just protect a woman's body. They protect her heart by having the courage to finally be real with their own. A lot of men hurt women simply because they don't love themselves first. See, you can't give away what you don't have. You can't pour love into somebody else if your own cup is sitting there empty. And a man who don't love himself, who don't even see his own worth, he's operating from a place of damage, from a place of brokenness. So when a woman comes into his life, offering real love, offering real belief in him, he don't know what to do with it. Instead of accepting it, he doubts it. Instead of holding on to it, he pushes it away. Not because she's not good enough, but because deep down, you don't feel good enough for her. You gotta understand, self-love is the foundation for every relationship a man is gonna have. A man who sees himself as valuable as worthy, he's gonna treat the people around him with value too. But if he's carrying around shame, insecurity, regret, if he feels like he's not enough, he's gonna project that onto the woman who loves him. He'll start thinking, she's gonna leave eventually. She's gonna see the real me and walk away. So what does he do? He sabotages the relationship before she ever gets the chance to really love him the way he needs. It ain't that she ain't showing up right. It's that he can't believe anybody would want to love somebody he's already judged as unworthy. That's why you see men cheat on women they love. That's why you see men disrespect women who lift them up. Because if a man's reflection in the mirror is cracked, it don't matter how clearly you see him. He still sees broken. And broken people break people. Hurting people hurt people. A man who ain't made peace with himself is a dangerous man in love. Because no matter how hard a woman tries, she cannot heal what he refuses to face. And the thing about it is, a woman can sense it. She might not always know what to call it, but she can feel when she's trying to love a man who's fighting himself more than he's fighting for the relationship. She can feel when she's competing with his own demons. And that's an exhausting battle, one no woman should have to fight alone. When a man doesn't love himself, he starts living out of fear instead of out of faith. He fears that one day she'll see he's not good enough. He fears he'll mess it up. He fears being exposed, being seen. And fear always makes people act irrationally. It makes them say things they don't mean. It makes them push away the very blessings they prayed for. And the sad truth is, no matter how much a woman loves him, no matter how loyal she is, no matter how patient she is, she cannot outlove a man's self-hatred. That's a battle he's got to fight on his own. Because real love, the kind that lasts, it starts inside. A man's got to look in the mirror and say, I'm enough. I deserve love. I am worthy of being treated right and of treating others right. Without that inner conversation, Every outer relationship is gonna bleed. Every good thing that comes into his life is gonna get poisoned by the insecurities he never addressed. Until a man loves himself, he's always gonna see real love as a threat instead of a gift. He's always gonna doubt the one person who's there for him the most. And he's gonna keep hurting the woman who only wanted to love him because he don't believe he deserves it. The hardest truth is this: no woman can teach a man to love himself. He's gotta pick up that fight and win it on his own if he ever hopes to love her back the way she deserves. One of the saddest reasons men hurt women is because they confuse control with love. They think being the loudest one in the room, making all the decisions, calling all the shots, means they're being a good man. But control ain't love. Control is fear dressed up in pride. A real man don't need to control his woman to feel powerful. A real man is powerful enough to let his woman be free and still trust she's riding with him. See, somewhere along the way, a lot of men got the wrong memo. They were taught that a woman's independence is a threat. They were taught that a woman thinking for herself, speaking for herself, dreaming for herself, means she don't respect them. So what do? They try to box her in. Tell her who she can and can't be friends with. Tell her what she can and can't wear. Try to dim her light because they're scared of getting blinded by it. But a real man knows. A queen shining bright next to you don't make you less of a king. It makes you a greater one. When a man uses control instead of love, it comes from a deep insecurity. Deep down, he's scared she might leave. Scared she might find better. Scared she might realize he ain't as big as he's pretending to be. So he tries to trap her, clip her wings, make her smaller, hoping that'll make her stay. But listen to me. Love that's trapped ain't love at all. It's survival. It's fear. It's a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. And the crazy part is, most women who love a man don't need him to be perfect. They don't need him to have all the answers. They don't need to be caged up or controlled. They just need to be loved right. Loved with respect, loved with trust, loved with enough confidence that says, I believe in you and me no matter what. But a man who mistakes control for love ends up hurting the woman he claims to care about because love is supposed to feel like freedom, not a prison sentence. The truth is, when you really love somebody, you want to see them soar. You want to see them live out their purpose. You want them to feel safe enough to be exactly who God made them to be. Real love cheers, not chains. It uplifts, not suppresses. It gives room to breathe, not rules to suffocate under. But some men get so caught up in their own pride, they think losing control means losing everything. Here comes the moon. What they don't realize is, when you try to control a woman, you end up losing her faster than if you had just trusted her. A woman who loves you will move mountains for you. But if you make her fight for her own freedom in the relationship, she'll eventually walk away. Not because she didn't love you, but because she had to love herself too. Control is about ownership. Love is about partnership. If a man's trying to own you, he don't love you right. Real love stands beside you, not on top of you. Real love says, I'm strong enough in myself that I don't have to control you to keep you. That's the kind of love that lasts. That's the kind of love every real woman deserves. Any man who truly loves a woman knows the goal is not to cage her, but to create a bond so strong she chooses to stay free by his side every single day. Sometimes men hurt the women who love them because they never saw real love growing up. See, you can't live what you never learned. If a man was raised in a house where love looked like yelling, silence, walking out, or even fists being thrown, that's what he thinks love is. That's what feels familiar to him. It ain't right, but it feels normal. So when a woman comes into his life offering something real, patience, understanding, kindness, he don't know how to handle it. He don't know how to sit still with it. It makes him uncomfortable because it don't match the definition of love he's been carrying his whole life. A boy watches his daddy, or whoever raised him, He sees how women get treated. If he grew up hearing, "You gotta be hard. Don't show emotion. Don't let no woman run you," then that's the script he's handed. And unless he does the work to rewrite that script, he's gonna act it out with every woman who tries to love him. He's gonna think being distant means being strong. He's gonna think shutting down means staying in control. He's gonna think love is something you gotta win, dominate, or survive, not something you surrender to and nurture. And let's be real. Some men grew up seeing women being hurt and staying. They think love means hurting somebody and then apologizing over and over again. They think love means making mistakes, getting forgiven, and doing it all over again. They don't realize love is about growing, not wounding. Love is about building, not breaking. And you gotta understand, a man can have the biggest dreams, the biggest ambitions, but if he never learned what healthy love looks like, he's gonna mess up every good thing that comes into his heart. It's not that he wants to lose it. It's not that he don't care. It's that he was never taught how to hold it right. A good woman can stand right in front of him, and he'll still choose chaos over peace because peace feels unfamiliar and pain feels like home. But here's the thing. Your past can explain your behavior, but it don't excuse it. At some point, every man has to make a decision. Do you let your past define your future? Do you keep bleeding on people who didn't cut you? Or do you decide this ends with... At some point, a man's got to look himself in the mirror and be man enough to say, "I wasn't taught right, but I'm going to love right. I'm going to break the cycle." Because real love requires unlearning. It requires humility. It requires saying, "I don't know everything about how to love, but I'm willing to learn." It requires vulnerability, and a lot of men are scared to death of that. They're scared to be open, scared to be seen, scared to let somebody close enough to really love them the way they need to be loved. But here's the truth. Without vulnerability, you'll never experience real intimacy. Without healing, you'll keep repeating the same heartbreaks with different faces. A man who never saw real love has to work twice as hard to learn it. But when he does, when he finally chooses to heal instead of hurt, he becomes a man capable of giving a woman the love she's been waiting for. And that right there, that's the kind of man that doesn't just change your relationship, he changes generations. At the end of the day, it's not about where you came from. It's about whether you're willing to do the work to become the man who loves like he was never hurt in the first place.